That's the thing about this podcast. We don't know when it goes
Just-
live.
Yeah, it literally does its own thing.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean-
it probably knows we're talking about it.
Right.
Waiting to trigger
It's
itself.
monitoring.
It's monitoring. That's exactly what it's doing. Out there.
Oh, see? We summoned it.
It needs to stop going rogue. I don't know how to control it. How do you stop a rampant AI? Is the real question.
Well, if Halo 5 taught us anything, you just
don't.
you just don't.
Basically. Well,
Basically.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast. We're on episode 92. 92.
Man, that's...
We're getting as close to Betty White's age as Betty White is. Crazy.
Oh, God. All right. Strong start already.
I only say that because her birthday was, I think, this week, and she turned like 96 or something like that, I think is what it was.
Man.
We could Google it. You know,
We
have the power. We have the technology.
Just ask our Cynthia podcast. It's an AI now. It should know things, right?
Yeah. Learning at a fast rate. It knows when we're talking about it. Terrifying. Anyways. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt. Hello.
We are here to talk about the man in the background grunting, which was your father, and also gaming.
And junk.
I just heard it in the background.
Yes, he's getting over a flu or cold or something he's had for the past couple of weeks. So
Seems about that time. My mom was in a similar boat, same as my stepdad, same as a couple coworkers. Luckily, I haven't come down with anything. Knock on any wood that's in the area. This desk is all metal.
There, that was my desk. I just destroyed the audio, I'm sure.
No, it wasn't that bad. I can see all of your shirt now, though, just so you know.
Oh, well, all right. I mean...
The audience at home can't see it because if you weren't here for the last couple episodes, we decided to...
This is hilarious.
I wish you could see him just adjusting his camera here, but we've taken the video out of it just so we could see each other doing dumb stuff. And while unfortunately you don't get to see those things,
You know what?
makes
I
for a
can fix
better
this. Boom.
makes for a better listen through. Personally, I think. Anyways, like we said, gaming and junk, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We have some interesting stories to talk about. We only have two, but they're both very interesting. And if you're following along on Twitch Live right now, which is twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, you can see that we're going to be talking about the Thursday night football ratings versus Overwatch, where apparently Overwatch might be doing better. We'll get there. And also, Nintendo has decided that it's out of the gaming industry and is going to sell us cardboard. That's not exactly what's happening, but damn it, that's what I'm going with. We'll talk about both of those things because
This is amazing.
It's very weird and it's such an interesting topic to talk about. I don't even know how I feel about it yet. Like, I'm still trying to decide as I'm talking. Like, I've watched the video, I've talked about it with you guys, you and Freak Show, and I'm just like, I don't know where I fall. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
We will.
And I'm interested to hear what the Frantic Talks listeners feel, because that's also very interesting.
Hey, how can they tell us how they feel?
Well, let's start with that. So, before we kick everything off, we typically ask one question. We'll get to that question in a minute. But first, let's talk about the links where you can continue the conversation, talk about the topics we talk about, give us any feedback, constructive or not, preferably constructive. That is the most obvious way. Twitter. I'm at FranticJ3, as you can see on screen. He is at OnyxSpartan. ONYXSpartan.
Picture me waving as he says that.
He's waving right now, actually. ONYXSpartan, all one word. And we are at Frantic_Talks. You can also hit up our special podcast ghost at FreakShow187. You can hit us up, talk about anything you want. We'll typically talk back. But if it's gaming, magic, wrestling, we'll probably talk more about that. Grunt, not so much on the wrestling bit. Also, you can head over to Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word. That's where you can like our page, get a more kind of Facebook form or Twitter. Twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. I already mentioned it once, but we go live every Saturday, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern. Usually. We've been getting back in a consistent schedule, so that's been nice. But the holidays are always hectic.
We were only like 5 minutes late, and that was my fault this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's close to 3 p.m., but if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook, you'll typically see us telling you when we're about to go live. And also, you can join in the Discord channel. Don't have an official link for that. Like, it's just a bunch of random characters and stuff. But if you go to FranticTalks.com, tying it all together here, full circle, you can find everything I just mentioned in the footer, including that Discord link, links to our Xbox DVRs, see some of the dumb stuff we pull off in some of our games. Nothing to write home about, but it is pretty entertaining to watch, I would say. But you can also get our articles and stuff, and I'll get it up on screen, and, oh, I didn't click the right button. There it is. It's on screen now. You can check out this website. That way you know you're in the right spot. See all our articles and stuff. We'll go over those in a second. And like I said, in the footer, all the information that I just mentioned, along with links to the Magic.Frantic Talks website, which is about Magic the Gathering. Got some fun stories to share shortly about that. But yeah, that's where you can get us, talk to us, talk about anything that we mentioned today in the podcast. Yeah. So let's talk about the website, and then we'll get to the normal start to the podcast, even though this is kind of the normal start now. I don't know why I say normal start. It's just like, fuck it, we talk about shit. Then we guess
Pretty
questions.
much. Pretty much. I mean, we'll have to have an abnormal start then, just so you can have a legitimate reason to say that.
Right. Just like starting off talking about articles instead of other stuff. That'd be really weird.
Right.
Anyways, so we have a couple articles up on screen right now. These were actually posted within the past 2 days as of recording this. Of course, you'll hear this on Monday if you wait till the audio version. But on Frantic Talks website, typically we have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. Right now we're in a little bit of a different area where we have something special on Thursdays, which will be one more Thursday actually is all's left. But anyways, Mondays you'll typically get the audio form and the links to all the related stuff to the podcast. Wednesday you get a weekly column written by either me, Grunt, or Freak Show. And then you also get Fridays, the Wrestling Fridays as we like to call it, which currently is being held by the Frantic vs. Freak Show series. We're on month 9 of our booking simulator, where we put together a roster and try to write our own storyline and see who comes out on top, all decided by you guys. And it's posted either me or Freak Show every other week. Part 1's me, part 2 is him, of course. And on Thursdays currently, which will be wrapped up next Thursday, is the kickoff done by Grunt, who is sitting right here next to me, smiling, trying not to laugh. Where he uses the extremely proven scientific method of Madden 17 to simulate the NFL playoffs.
That was a debacle last week. Thank you, everyone.
Of which he now is sitting at 3-5, where he can only hope to come out on top by literally predicting the rest of the games correctly, where he will predict the conference championships and the Super Bowl all correctly. He's already predicted the conference championships, which is in that article if you want to go check out who wins, according to Madden. And if he gets them both right, we're looking at, 1, an interesting Super Bowl, and 2, the chance for you to be above 500 in your predictions.
I mean, I would hope so. I really, really hope that at the very least I tie 500. I get 500, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, the people who have to win probably won't. So,
we started off 2-2, which was it's fine. We were talking about that last time. It was like a coin flip.
Right.
But then, man, everything that could have gone wrong almost nearly went wrong.
I mean, you specifically told me that the Titans wouldn't win. So
yes, and I was 100% correct.
I expected that. I mean, I was really hoping that they would win because 2 reasons. I know you're a big Titans fan. That would have been great to see knock off the. But they would have been the currently reigning Super Bowl champions, right? The Patriots.
Yeah, because they won against Atlanta in that 28-3 comeback.
Reminds me of all the stupid jokes I make to that in my articles.
Yeah.
But it would have been great for that. It would have helped my record not go 1-3 this past weekend. Last weekend, so. But oh well. I mean, what can I do? I probably now have better shot at actually flipping a coin and getting the right winners.
Yeah, I think you're. Well, yeah, probably. And to be fair, that's probably what it did, and that's why you ended up 1-3. One of the coin flips went the wrong way. If we're being realistic, super scientific.
Like 3 of them went the wrong way.
That just means you got to get all 3 coin flips right in the next 3 games.
I can do it. I got this. That's why I would love to do something like the MLB playoffs, because that could get so hilarious.
I feel like it could. Although they just last forever. Because they have to play a ton of games.
They do.
So, but anyways, those are what's up on the website right now. You can check it out. Let us know what you think about any of the articles where we mentioned stuff. We had a weekly column go up, which was actually mine, right?
It was indeed.
I don't actually remember. Yeah, it was.
Your 2017 Best of the Rest metal albums.
Yes, so my last column, which was posted around Christmas or right after Christmas, was, man, Grunt Dad. Coughing up a lung back there. I was I did the best albums of 2017, in my personal opinion, of course, and they were metal albums because that's what I listened to. So if you were looking for the best like pop albums, not what you're gonna find here. But then,
darn it,
I mentioned that in September was when I really started listening to newer music pretty regularly. Not to say I don't listen to regular music or new music regularly. It was just I got into a groove where I'm listening to 2 new albums every week. So it was a lot more to digest and a lot more to broaden my horizons. And I listened to upwards of over 40 new albums last year, and of course I'm going to listen to over 100 new ones this year, assuming I get 2 in every week. So it was hard to narrow them down to 10, so I did the best of the rest, where I narrowed it down to another about 10, and I also had honorable mentions in the album article from around the time of Christmas. So I gave you about the top, I think, 22, but they're not really in any particular order at this point, and there's just a bunch of ones I liked. So if you're interested in looking at that, find some other stuff, seeing if maybe your album wasn't mentioned on my original article, and you're curious if it's there, you can go check it. Or you can just yell at me because your favorite album wasn't on there. That's fair. I'm fully accepting of that. So,
my favorite album wasn't on there. Shame on you.
What was your favorite album? Did you tell me? And I forgot?
No, because I don't think I've listened to enough new music to pick out a new favorite album.
This is what we talked about. We were like, we haven't played enough new video games. And I was kind of the same boat. I was like, I haven't listened to enough new music. Because when I thought about Best of 2016, there were like 5 albums I could think of.
All right. Like this year, there's a lot of new artists. There's a lot of artists that I listen to regularly that have new albums coming out. So I imagine it'll probably be one of those, if not just Avatar's album.
Well, damn, that's such a good album.
It is so. But yeah, so I don't think I actually had one from last year.
Well, that's unfortunate. Go pick one of the 22 I shared. I'm sure one of them will get you.
Right, I have yet to listen to that Xanthocroid. Yes, I was going to listen to it last night.
Number 5. It's so good. It's so
right.
good. Just go read the album. Read the articles. Listen to all the albums, and then tell me which ones sucked and which ones were amazing. If you don't say all of them are amazing, you're just wrong. But let me know. Anyway, the way we normally start this off without rambling for 12.5 minutes is by asking one very simple question, and that question is, Grunt, how was your week?
Pretty interesting. I didn't do really a whole lot. What else is new there? Got started on my next column. Actually, got started on that like 2 weeks ago. Whoops.
I briefly read over it when you sent it.
Right. Well, it's totally different from now. Now from when you read it. So.
Well, yeah, because you found contradictory scientific evidence in your game, and now you're like, crap.
And I still have yet to rewrite that part of it. So I have almost half a mind to leave that in there and then add in like some little note at the end. So that part is now wrong because here's why.
Right.
So I've spent some time working on that. That's been actually really fun to write because compared to, articles or columns I've written, whatever, English words are hard. Have done before, it's more so including my opinion crossed with actual stuff I know, actual research I've done in that. So it's a little bit more rooted in actual truth than it is just, hey, here's what I think.
Are you taking a knock at me?
No.
Because that's how I write.
I mean, no. It's just I typically don't write like that. It's different for me.
That's fair.
I mean, how did I start doing this podcast? It was basically, Grunt, I like what you write on your blog, which is basically just a bunch of nonsense.
Well, that's how you got started on the Frantic Talks website. And then we were just like, let's talk about Halo 5.
Okay. So one thing led to another, and then now we're here talking about things leading to another.
Time is a flat circle.
It is. So is the Earth.
Ooh.
Wow, give me a thumbs down. Okay. But yeah, I spent some time working on that, playing a bunch of Skyrim, which, by the way, I recommend listening to Avatar's new album while playing Skyrim, and it is amazing.
That makes sense. The album's about a king.
Right.
Probably a king in Skyrim at some point. I don't know.
There's lots of kings. You kill a king. You kill an emperor, actually.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Jesus Christ.
Well, to be fair, with as massive as that game is, you may not actually ever do that quest line because it's for a another like side faction that you get, or that you don't get, you come across. So yeah, you may actually never do that quest for many reasons.
Well, funnily, I was saying spoiler alert ironically, but now that you say that, that means there's a less likely chance that people have done it. Meaning there's a more than likely chance people haven't done it.
Meaning
we literally just spoiled it for them.
Great, now it made me feel bad. I'm just gonna go mope over here in my corner, turn around. Better not turn around too much. Yank my cord to my microphone that off. Play some Skyrim. Let's see, what else did I do? It's pretty much about it that I can think of.
Riveting.
Yes, I know. Super riveting. Read some books.
What'd you read?
So, basically the same two books I've been reading. The Hobbit, because I got the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series for Christmas. I've been slowly working my way through the first one.
I've made it through the first 30 pages.
I'm not quite there. So you still have me beat.
So the first 30 pages is literally just the dwarves showing up at Bilbo's.
Pretty much, yes.
And that's what I've read.
I think they just now left.
Okay, so I think that I'm pretty much in a similar area.
So yeah, there is that. I'm enjoying it so far. It's a good read. I've wanted to read those books ever since I first saw the one Lord of the Rings movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is a book about medieval history in England. So
that sounds really interesting.
It is. I think I said this last week, but I've taken more of an interest in that stuff. So I'm researching it, absorbing the knowledge, getting smarter. I can feel myself getting smarter, you know? As you facepalm.
That was great. I'm getting smarter, y'all. Them books and shit. This is exactly where my mind went. Jesus.
Pretty much. I mean, good. That's good. That's what I was going for. But yeah. That's been pretty much it.
Okay.
Pretty uneventful, calm week.
That's always good to have those, though.
I know you had an interesting last night, anyhow.
Oh, gee. So let's see. How did my week go? I got a bunch of cool stuff set up downstairs. I finally got a network switch to connect all my peripherals into the network, so my Steam Link isn't running off Wi-Fi. My Xbox isn't running off Wi-Fi. My TV isn't running off Wi-Fi. It's all direct lined, and we don't got to worry about lag. That was really nice because now I can play all my games and not have to scream about lag. Except for when it actually lags. Now it's not just a hiccup in the local connection.
Like in Rocket League, which seems to happen way more.
Yeah, it was happening way more when I moved here because I didn't have a direct connected. Ever since, I haven't really had an issue yet. You know, it'll happen eventually, but it won't be nearly as bad. But otherwise, kind of a standard week. Been just playing Arkham City, trying to get through that again and having fun with it. I'm on hard, so some of the stuff's been really challenging. I think that's about all I've been doing there. But last night in particular was a ton of fun. So last night we got together and played some Commander Magic, and I debuted 2.5 decks is the best way to put it, because I already hit the 2 new decks and a deck that was already in existence but got a facelift again to basically just not revive, what's the right word? I don't know the right way to put it, but I had a strategy and it just wasn't really cohesive, and now it's much more cohesive and did a lot of damage. So anyways,
You reworked it.
Yeah, that's the right word. I reworked it even a tad bit more than it already was. But anyways, I debuted, if anyone's curious, I debuted Vile Smasher Thrasios, which is a combination of partner commanders who cover all colors but white. I also debuted Sidisi Brood Tyrant, who is a blue, black, green graveyard-based deck, and Bruce Tarl and Ikri Shidiki, because that's a great name, are the ones that I reworked, which are all colors but blue. They were built out of a shell of Doran the Siege Commander, who was like my original commander. So that's a whole toughness-based deck. So those are the decks that I had basically re-debuted, well, either debuted or re-debuted last night. And I did them actually in that order. So the Vile Smasher Thrasios deck is literally big mana, and Grunt actually bought me a good part of the deck for Christmas. And, oh boy, you should have seen this deck in action.
Oh, I when I got you those cards and I found out you got them, it's like I want to know how this does. I know your plans for it because you told me what you had wanted to do with the deck, and it's like it could work out pretty well if he's able to put everything together and get going correctly.
I mean, every deck has a weakness. This one's weakness is if you can kill artifacts, I lose. Well, I don't lose, but I become really less effective. But the deck was essentially just play some artifacts that had colorless mana, and then play this card called Upwelling, which reads when mana doesn't empty from your mana pool. So you can tap mana on an opponent's turn and still have that mana the next turn, which typically doesn't happen. And also combined with the card Unwinding Clock, which says all your artifacts on tap every turn, not just yours, you can float an absurd amount of mana.
Oh my god.
Which I was doing.
Oh my god.
Now, everybody gets the benefit of this. Everybody can tap and float mana. But when you're coming into your turn with 32 mana and everyone else had like 3, you have a significant advantage. And I did this 3 times before my enchantment was removed. Which led to, well, it wasn't exactly 32. I mean, it was a different number each time because I kept getting more mana. But the first thing I did was cast this card called Villainous Wealth, which reads X and some colors. Reveal the top X cards of an opponent's deck and cast any card with X or less mana. So I flipped a coin and said, Luke, top 21, please. I get all cards that have 21 or less that aren't lands. Casted all of them.
Oh my god.
And then
I love it when stuff like that happens. That's amazing.
And then I cast my commander Vial Smasher, who reads whenever you cast your first spell, randomly hit an opponent for how much you spent on it. And proceeded for the next 3 turns, hit somebody for 20 plus each time, which ended up killing Luke. But Bob, the other opponent, was gaining lots of life. And he was able to keep removing Vial Smasher, so I had to find an alternative route. Found the card Doubling Cube, which reads double your mana and in the mana pool. And I'm able to untap this card multiple times. Ended up with over 300 mana and just used Thrasios to look at the top card of the deck till I found something I needed. Funnily enough, I scryed one, put it to the bottom, flipped over Walking Ballista and said, oh, good game. Because Walking Ballista reads pay X twice. So essentially however much you pay, you cut it in half. And when it comes into play, it has that many counters. If you remove a counter, you deal damage. Well, Walking Ballista came into play with 160 counters on it, and I just mowed down everything.
Oh my god.
And that was the game.
Wow.
He was like, wait, why can't I respond? Because he had a creature that if he sacked 3 white creatures, he could exile a creature. He's like, why can't I respond? I'm like, well, because it's an instant ability. If you had to have more tokens than I have counters, you have 10 tokens. I have 160 counters. You need 3 times 160 counters to stop me. And you have 10. So I win. Really funny. It was really dumb. And it was great.
That's amazing.
Doing the math on it was awful. I'm sitting there just like, okay, I tap 3, I add 6 mana, pay 1 to untap 1 to add 3, so now I'm at 8. And I do that next turn. That's how I got to 32 because I did it 3 or 4 times. And then I got the Doubling Cube, and it was like, oh god, okay, so I'm at 39, okay, up to 78, down 3 to 75, up. Now I'm untapping everything, add all this mana up to 80, up to 160, go down a couple, add a little bit more, up to 320. Okay, that's where I'm at. It took forever to add it all up.
Oh my god.
It was stupid. So that deck was dumb. And then the next round was Sidisi, which was the graveyard-based deck, who, when she attacks, you put your cards into your graveyard. This game, I shouldn't have won this game. What ended up happening was Bob was playing the Vampire Commander from the new set. He was playing basically that pre-con deck. And with a couple of additions, I think. He was playing the new Vampire Edgar Markov. Luke was playing Leviathans. Oh my god, this deck is stupid. It's in a bad way. He's playing mono blue with the commander that just reads at the beginning of every player's upkeep. They put a card into play basically, and his goal is to just play gigantic Leviathans that are like 12/12s with trample.
Oh my
god! He just plays his commander and then drops a 12/12 every turn. That's his goal, and so we were getting some free cards out of it. Anyways, Bob amasses a vampire army, is railing into people. I get down to 4 health, and I use a card called Gerard's Orders to search up 2 creatures. One will go to my graveyard, one to my hand. I search up Razaketh, the new demon from Hour of Devastation, who lets me sack a creature and search for a card. And I search up Green Warden of Marassa, which just grabs cards from graveyards. This is important, because I play Razaketh for free thanks to Luke's card. I sacrifice a zombie token I've created, and search up the card Living Death. I'm at 2 life. I cast Living Death. Living Death reads, basically, everybody swaps the creatures in play with the creatures in their graveyard. So you take everything from your graveyard, put it into play, all the creatures in play into your graveyard simultaneously, so you don't like accidentally wipe one or the other. Well, guess who didn't have any creatures in their graveyard? Everyone but me. Guess who had like 10 creatures in their graveyard? This guy. So I went from 2 life to having a gigantic board state. Luke and Bob tried to answer, and they're like, we may have a couple turns. I have an overrun in hand, which gives my creatures +3/+3 and trample. I could have killed one of them, but then my next card was Overwhelming Stampede, which gives my creatures +3/+3, or sorry, +X and trample, where X is the highest power, meaning all my creatures got +12/+12 and trample. That's how I won that game. Kind of a luck of the draw, but I pretty much was like, oh, lots of damage. Eat this. It was like 100-something damage on one play.
Oh my god.
And then the next deck was Bruce and Ikra Shadiki, which is just a toughness-based double strike lifelinking deck, which got me to 95 life in a matter of 3 turns. And then Luke had this Ramos Dragon engine, who's from the new set, or the new commander set, the dragon who's like, remove 5 counters, add a shit ton of mana to your mana pool.
Yes.
He ran that and stormed out so hard, it was ridiculous. He was playing this card called Haze of Rage, and it has Storm and Buyback, so you just cast it, give all your creatures +1/+0 for every spell you cast. If you pay X amount of mana, which is like 3, comes back to your hand. He just kept casting it, and he swung for a shit ton of damage and killed us. So basically, that was the highlights of those 3 decks, and then we played some other games, and there were some really funny games in there. We did Pack Wars with new Rivals of Ixalan cards, and I got Form of the Dragon. It was a Form of the Dinosaur, and was chomping on other creatures. It was fun. But those were the highlights that I remember specifically because it was new decks, seeing how they're getting to do stuff. And funnily enough, Grunt, you're going to get to experience that soon.
Yes.
Very soon.
I'm not sure if I should be scared or...
I mean, they're easily shut down. The 3 decks I just mentioned have a very glaring weakness because they're not...
Oh, right.
I mean, the one that makes a bunch of mana, kill artifacts, you're good. The graveyard-based one, kill my graveyard, I do nothing. And then Doran and Ikra Shadiki or whatever, the toughness-based one, you just got to kill whatever makes toughness matter, which happened in that game, and that's why I lost. So yeah, so they can be beaten, but when they go untouched, they're going to do something. And that's kind of how most Magic goes. But for the most part, I won the race in the first 2 games. A lot of fun. Actually, I lost the race in the second game, but somehow still won. But
yeah, you definitely you lost that one quickly, and then somehow
managed to pull it out at the last second. It was fun though. I had a ton of fun. It went on forever last night. We started at 7 and ended at 3 a.m. So it was crazy.
Wow.
I mean, we played a lot more games in between.
Oh well, yeah.
But, yeah.
Overall, it sounds like it was pretty fun.
It was.
You can try those decks and see them perform the way you had hoped and intended them to.
Yep, it was nice seeing that and getting to actually see the stuff in progress working. So it was nice. But that about does it for my week. Sounds like we had quieter weeks besides last night, of course, for me. Nothing wrong with that. But let's talk about some news stories that came up in the past week or so. This first one's an interesting one. So we're gonna
How popular is Overwatch?
How popular is it? Well, the answer is fucking popular as hell. But this headline will grab your attention, and we'll go over what they mention in it here. So the Overwatch League claims higher ratings than Thursday Night Football, but it's complicated. And the sub-headline is what gets me and kind of gives you the idea of the author's way they're writing this. The future is bright, but don't dance on the NFL's grave yet.
Too late, already started.
So what this goes over is the Overwatch League, over the course of 3 days, had 480,000 stream viewers and a consistent 200,000+ every minute or something like that, is what the article mentions. And basically, this guy points it out and is like, this is cool, but also the numbers are coming from people who have a high investment in it, so take it with a grain of salt. Also, NFL, they're comparing it against Thursday Night Football streaming. And it's like, he's basically undermining every point that's made about the stream, where it's like, oh, they're getting a lot of numbers. And in the very last paragraph, he says, oh, it's okay. You know, that's really impressive. That's still crazy and doing well for themselves. But, you know, their claim is kind of ridiculous. That's the gist of the story. Not to make it sound like it's less important than it is. My problem is the way the guy writes it is he's assuming Overwatch would replace football. With that line, don't dance on the NFL's grave yet, and the way he writes about everything, where it's like, oh, these aren't the same numbers, these are fudged numbers, they're only going to report numbers that make them look good, stuff like that.
Well, I mean, that's how marketing works. You don't report the bad, you report the good.
Yeah, he brings up a good point. They all have investments in it, you know? If NBC or NFL Network doesn't have decent numbers, and they probably aren't going to report those either. But I don't know. It seems like he's just like, oh, people are shitting on the NFL. I like the NFL, and they're doing better in numbers. It's like, well, that's not what's being said here, because esports itself is a niche, a big niche, right, but still a niche. Football, you could argue, is, but it has a gigantic appeal. People aren't going to.
It has a broader fan base than what esports does.
Yeah, esports, you got to understand what's happening in the game. Granted, you do in the NFL too, but in esports, it's not going to be as played out. It's not going to be as spelled out for you as it is in the NFL. In the NFL, the referees literally have to tell you something absurdly obvious for a penalty. Number 15 jumped off sides, 5-yard penalty. It's like, we all know this, but they still tell you that. In esports, if someone does something in the game and shoots them in headshots, and they're just like, oh my god, whoa, and no one explains what really happened, you kind of had to have been watching. That's why the only one that I think could even get any mass appeal would be Rocket League, because it's so glaringly obvious what's happening. You don't have to understand which gun is which, or understand what abilities do what to understand what's happening. You can just watch guys as doing soccer.
Right. And then, yeah, and soccer in general has a large fan base too, so it would be more appealing.
No, yeah, exactly. Or football, as I like to call it.
Football.
I'm a pompous ass. But of course, it's coming from SB Nation, which is a sports nation. I forget the SB, what it actually stands for. I know it's sports something. Sports broadcast?
Sports ball.
Sports Ball Nation. It's Sports Ball Nation. New decree. They were rebranding them. No, but it clearly seems like...
On the 20th of January, 2018,
SB Nation.
The new decree from Frantic Talks becomes... I can't even say this with a straight face. SB Nation hereby is known as Sports Ball Nation.
Sports Ball Nation! Exclamation mark. Before Nation. Sports Ball! Exclamation mark Nation. You have to put that in there. Nah, but I feel like the author feels like Overwatch is taking shots at Thursday Night Football like it's going to replace it. And while maybe someone's head thinks that within Overwatch, that's not what they're trying to say. I personally don't think, because they have to understand, and probably do understand, that it is apples and oranges. Shit, this is apples and fucking, what is something so ridiculous that it's not an apple? Potatoes. It's just so different, but people like them for different reasons. You know, one makes French fries, the other makes caramel apples with additions, or apple cider. There's a big difference here. So,
I like how that went from comparing oranges to potatoes to apples to potatoes.
Did I say orange to potatoes? I thought I said apples to potatoes. One makes orange juice, the other makes French fries or mashed potatoes. So, I don't know. That's why I think the author's just getting mildly like, oh, my job's in jeopardy because people are doing this. No, it's not.
No, they're two different things. Besides, if his job is in jeopardy, he can just jump on the esports bandwagon and go work at ESPN.
Yeah.
Esports play now. Boom. ESPN.
Are we trying to rebrand everything now? Like AT&T, a typical, and nope. I give up. All right, that's basically that story. EA could be extremely awful. I'm sure I'm not the first to think of that.
Probably not. I think it's safe to say that, you know, the NFL has lost a little bit of popularity in recent years due to various reasons.
Oh, there's a ton of different reasons, yeah.
But those people are not going over to watch Overwatch. So, you know, they're just doing different things. They're not watching the NFL. They're just doing different things. I don't think your precious Thursday Night Football is not going anywhere.
Well, personally, I'd like to see Thursday Night Football go away because most of the time I'm not interested in the game, and it's 3 days after a game just ended that even though there are studies that are showing there are less injuries on Thursday night than Sunday, where people were saying Thursday night's an injury risk and player safety and all that crap, I still don't think it makes zero sense. It's like, why do we have a game in the middle of the week 3 days after they just had a game? Why do they get a week and a half off after it? It's really weird. It's like they're just trying to absorb every day of the week at this point.
Right. So, yeah, it's not going anywhere. Overwatch isn't going to become the next big thing, even though it kind of has.
in the gaming world, it basically is the next big thing. But
Right.
it's never gonna get to that level, I don't think. The only one, like I said, I think would be that way would be ones that can rival sports in their own. Rocket League looks more like a sport than Overwatch does, so that's the only way I see it happening here in the next like 10 or 15 years at least. I could be wrong. We'll find out, but that's basically
We'll find out in the next 10 or 15 years.
So, if I had to ask you one question.
Yes.
And that question being, what would be the best way for us to elevate ourselves in the market by offering a brand new product? What would you offer me, Grunt? Or what would be your sales pitch, I guess?
Well, first I would show you these really cool tech demos of playing things like a piano and various other games like fishing, or you're now a Transformer. You've always wanted to live out your childhood dream of being Optimus Prime or something similar like that.
It's already appealing, okay.
Then I could tell you that you can have these all on the Nintendo Switch, the new console that's out on the market.
Okay. Skeptical still, but keep going.
Now, what if I told you that you could have this and construct it and build it yourself?
Like build my own fishing rod.
Or build your own fishing rod. Or Optimus Prime, yes. Or a piano, even.
I'd say that sounds cool, I guess. And I like DIY.
And you can use those buildables with your Nintendo Switch.
That sounds pretty appealing.
So you're playing your piano or Optimus Prime or whatever, you're actually fishing using both your Switch and the constructible.
That sounds really interesting and intriguing, but it sounds like it could be expensive. Like, cosplayers spend a ton of money being Optimus Prime. How much am I going to have to spend, and what is this even going to be? Is it going to be realistic?
It's going to be pretty realistic. You can have a variety kit that has several different things in it for $70.
Oh, that sounds pretty affordable.
Right. It gives you various activities that you can build.
Okay.
And, you can play these activities on your Nintendo Switch. Now, with all that in mind, are you curious as to how we make it so relatively affordable?
That's where I'm trying
to cosplay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out here, because we got to think about the overhead of all of this. How are we saving so much money?
We'll use cardboard for the constructibles.
That sounds like a ripoff to the people using it.
Well, I guess how do we break this news to Nintendo now?
Someone needs to tell Nintendo. So, if you haven't heard, Nintendo don't do that. If you haven't heard, Toy Cons, which is what they're branded as, are literally what Grunt just described. These peripherals that you construct yourself and get to play games on your Switch with, just by attaching the Joy-Cons to them, essentially. And they're made out of cardboard. And you have to pay $70 for them.
They do have another set that I think was like $100.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that somewhere. So, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
For those of you watching the stream, I'm going to scroll down. Grunt, you can keep talking. You can see how some of these work here.
The concept of it is similar, in my mind, to like the Skylanders things of recent years, where you buy the figure, you put in the little code, and it gave you to use like that Marvel figure or whatever, the Mario, whatever. The Mario, not a Mario.
Right, yeah.
But you can use those in the game as you're playing. It's basically the same concept of that, only instead of getting a cool little collectible plastic figure, you're going to get something that's going to turn to mush when it gets wet because you spilled your drink on it. Or maybe you were playing with it on the floor and the dog stepped on it, or the dog ate it, like it did our homework all those years ago.
Yeah. Or it just degrades over time unless they're using top premium cardboard here.
Right.
So,
which, given the fact that Nintendo has been in the cardboard business, and I didn't know this until just yesterday. Maybe they know that.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't know that. They were a trading card company to begin with, back in like the late 1880s, I think, was the actual year. I know they were. I just don't remember what year they started.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I have not done my research in Nintendo. I have Nintendo not done my research. That didn't work.
Boo. So
You go consult our special podcast ghost for that kind of pun.
Yeah, you do. When you guys told me about this, I didn't know what to expect. And I'll be honest, right before the podcast, I watched the video to understand more of what I was seeing. And to be honest, when
Is there a way to understand it?
The way Grunt pitched this to me, and I would hope it's the same way they pitched it to Nintendo, except for the whole we're going to make it out of cardboard part. It seems genuinely cool. And that's why I'm conflicted, because if I'm a kid, I'm pretty sure this seems really neat. I'm not thinking about how much money I have to spend on cardboard. You can give a kid a cardboard box and it'll turn into something amazing, let's be honest here. To them, at least.
I know I did that.
Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of, for kids, this feels like damn near a home run. You know, the Skylanders stuff and the imitations that came along with it was just a way to almost milk parents for money. It was like, pay this $60 game and you need a $15 add-on every time your kid wants a new character. That gets expensive so fast, it's not even right.
Right.
But I'm so conflicted on this because I know it's cool for the kids, and maybe that's the whole point, but it feels so weird. I cannot stop watching this Flappy Bird gif. Just like pecking its fucking face.
Okay. I mean,
I'm mesmerized.
I don't think we can top that. We should just end this podcast right here.
I mean, we could, but so it's interesting. I think the price point's kind of ridiculous, but I guess does it? I don't know the answer to this. What does it come with the games that? Because you don't just automatically plug this into your Switch and it works. I mean, you have to have some sort of.
Really hoping it does, because, like you said, how else are you going to get them? You know.
I mean, if we're getting these very simple games that you're just controlling cardboard, $70 plus further that, and the cardboard seems still kind of pricey. Like, I would think the games themselves are probably not that deep. So you're paying arguably 60 plus a $10 fee for cardboard. I would expect it not to be that, but you know, I don't know how much it cost them to develop this. I would hope not much. It's just structuring cardboard in
right. It's just if we had a weird what in the world gaming news column or news section
stop watching
every
this
week.
Flappy Bird. I want to watch this guy drive his car here.
I think this is something that I would put under it, because it's like, okay, you're selling us games, but you're also selling us cardboard. That
I think Philip DeFranco put it the best, because he talked about this on his show where it was just like a real brief little thing. It was everyone else is worried about 4K and the most pixels for their buck, and Nintendo's over there like, fuck it, you guys want some cardboard? We ain't gonna compete with that shit. Just take this cardboard and build something out of it, you little fuck. Just.
I mean, yeah.
I
didn't look at it from the perspective you did, that it's great for the kids, because it really is, you know.
Yeah, it makes so much sense there.
Right, and how many times did we in our childhood you pretend paper towel tubes or wrapping paper tubes at Christmas time were lightsabers and stuff like that?
Easily every time, like every Christmas, it was, yeah.
Right, and you know, so it's all up to your imagination and all that stuff, how creative you can be. So they're trying to capitalize on that, in a good way, mind you, not the bad way. But it's just like, other than that, why? I
think we'll be asking that question till the end of time.
On the upside, though, you can get all of this stuff on April 20th, 2018.
Yes, 420, so you can be high and act like you're driving a car. Or give it to your
or maybe you're an Optimus Prime that enjoys... I don't know how to finish that. I don't know if I want to.
Enjoys Pop Brownie. Transformers. Roll out this doobie.
Oh god, that's great.
For the kids, right? Yeah.
For the kids. It wasn't until we started. Oh my god! It wasn't until we started introducing pop brownies and.
I wonder. You know, we could be wrong about this. This could be like Nintendo sees the future, and this is the future somehow.
No.
Have
The
cardboard
future,
everything.
the future is station wagons.
Oh, that's great. Freak Show's gonna laugh at that and tell us he loved it when he.
I really hope so.
Southpaw Season 2 reference. Go check it out. Haven't already. Because damn, is it good. But anyways, that's the big news out of this week is Nintendo decided they're gonna sell us cardboard.
And yep, Overwatch is more popular than football, and you can buy cardboard.
Headlines would not have expected coming into 2018 had you told us that last year. Seriously, I think if you would have told me 6 months ago,
Nintendo's going to be selling cardboard.
Overwatch more popular than football, I might have believed you. But then Nintendo sells us cardboard cutouts that we put together ourselves. Would not have been. I would have just been like, "What the hell are you smoking, Optimus Prime? Stop that!"
I didn't smoke anything. I ate it.
So along with the Sentient podcast, I think Optimus Prime smoking a doobie is going to be another, just like recurring joke now. Optimus Prime
works.
Autobots roll out those doobies. I think that's a good episode title.
I'm for it. Oh God! So am I gonna have to find my Optimus Prime transform that I have around here somewhere?
Oh, I don't have mine anymore. I had one when I was much younger.
Ah, man.
So, anyways, guys, that's the thing. That's all I can say about that. Let us know what your thoughts are on the interesting fact that we're getting sold cardboard now. We were already sold cardboard back.
I mean, that's what playing cards and I mean.
I can't talk. I got fucking cardboard sitting right here in the form of a magic card. Like I pay for this to play with it. I shouldn't be talking. Apparently,
it's essentially the same thing. But what's the quality of that cardboard compared to the quality of the cardboard?
I have a $60 cardboard card somewhere around here. To be fair, guess I can't be really mad about it.
No, you can't. But
well, I guess I do need a $300 system to go with it. There's the caveat.
True.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, guys, let us know what you think about this interesting story. Also, what you think about the Overwatch thing. Is it a bunch of hoopla like we think it is, or are they really just taking over? Whatever. Let us know what you think.
Mirror my football.
Getting in the way of my foosball. Yeah, let us know what you guys think about that. If you want to continue the conversation, let us know. We are on Twitter. I'm at FranticJ3. He's at Onyx Spartan, ONYX Spartan, all one word. And we are at Frantic_Talks, official Frantic Talks Twitter account. We'll tweet about podcasts, articles, all the like there. Also, head over to Facebook.com/Frantic Talks, all one word, where you can like us and get a more Facebook forum of Twitter. Twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word. Live every Saturday, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern. Usually. You can join in on the conversation, get a shout out, let us know what you think, correct us if we say something wrong, anything and everything above there. And also frantictalks.com, where you can find everything I just mentioned in the footer, along with a link to our Discord channel, where you can join in on the conversations there, get heads up notifications about other random things. Also, check out our Xbox TVRs if you want. All the links, it's all there. And also check out all our articles, which are on screen right now, where you can check out the latest Wrestling Friday, the Kickoff by Grunt, where we're simulating wrestling, my albums of the year from last year, and the best of the rest, and weekly articles, podcasts, all that's there. And don't forget about magic.frantictalks.com, where we post magic articles talking about similar things that I just mentioned earlier today in this podcast, actually. Not the exact combos, of course, but stuff like that. But anyways, that is where you can find us, continue the conversation, let us know all the fun stuff you think about the episode today, about the topics we discussed and all that fun stuff. But hey, if you guys cannot find us, for some reason, it's just not happening. You try to type it into Google, and maybe you typed in www.frantictalks.com and it went to some weird site. Don't worry, never fear. 110 times out of 10, what can they do, Grunt?
Direct themselves to the nearest search engine and just search Frantic Talks. You'll find us.
We guarantee it.
All the time.
Or your glimmer back. So that about
within 90 days with receipt.
Yeah, 90 days, you need a receipt. I don't know how you get a receipt of your Google search. It's probably just Control-H for your history. But
boom.
That's how you get your money back.
Boom.
Also, we're not going to give you money back. You didn't pay for it. But either way, that's how you get it back. So
that's why you say Gunner.
Yeah,
Gunner doesn't exist.
Just like a receipt for your Google search doesn't. All right, guys. Join Optimus Prime next week. He's going to roll out some Doobies with us, and I think we're about done, unless you got anything else to add, Grunt.
I don't think I can add anything more to this
There's not
without
much,
further derailing it.
There is not much
just
you can
will
add.
the Flappy Bird be joining him? That's all I want to know.
Will the Flappy Bird be joining him? Nah, Starscream will take that spot. He flaps his wings.
All right.
All right, guys. Also, join us again next week, live every Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Frantic Talks. Join on the conversation at frantictalks.com. Check out the podcast, all that fun stuff. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, all that. We're there. But I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
We will see you guys next time.
Later. /described wave.